Stop. I want you to imagine something. A child born today, right now. Healthy, beautiful, perfect. You're holding them, counting their fingers, watching them breathe. And in that moment, you're making promises inside your head. I'll protect you. I'll teach you everything. I'll make sure you have every advantage. But here's what nobody tells you in that delivery room. That child, for the first time in all of human history, will never be smarter than the machine. Not in math, not in medicine, not in law, not in writing, not in strategy, not in almost any measurable cognitive task. The machine will always be faster, always be more accurate, always have access to more information, always outperform them on the metrics we've spent centuries using to measure human worth. That's not 2050. That's not science fiction. That's 2030. Maybe sooner. And nobody in that delivery room is talking about it. I became a father recently, and I want to tell you something honest. Something that hit me in a way I didn't expect. The moment I held my child, everything I was building felt different. Not more important in an abstract way. Different in a specific way. Because suddenly, I wasn't just thinking about users, about technology, about capability curves. I was thinking about one person. One small human being, who is going to grow up in the world I'm helping create. And I asked myself a question I hadn't fully asked before. What am I actually preparing this world for? Not humanity in general, this child, specifically. And that question changed something in me. Let me tell you what's already happening, not in labs, in classrooms. Right now, teachers are watching students submit AI-written essays and struggling to explain why that's a problem. In a world where AI-written work is often better, parents are watching their teenagers turn to ChatGPT for emotional support instead of turning to them. College students are spending 4 years accumulating debt for degrees that are being compressed by tools that didn't exist when they enrolled. A 22-year-old studying to be a radiologist right now will finish their training in a world where AI reads scans more accurately than humans. A law student graduating next year will enter a profession where AI already does first draft research in minutes that used to take junior associates weeks. A kid learning to write code today is learning a skill that AI can already do better, in many cases, before they even finish the course. I'm not saying these people are finished. They are not. But I am saying the question of what education is actually for has never been more urgent, and most of the people responsible for answering that question haven't started asking it yet. Here's a number that stopped me cold. Over half of Gen Z, more than 52%, report feeling genuine existential anxiety about AI. Not just career anxiety, existential anxiety. The feeling that the thing that makes them valuable, the thing that makes them them, is being called into question by a machine. And when I read that, my first reaction was not, they're overreacting. My first reaction was, they're paying attention. Because the anxiety is rational. The uncertainty is real. The question underneath it, what am I for in a world where machines think better than me, is one of the most important questions any human being has ever had to answer. And we are asking an entire generation to answer it, while also going to school, paying rent, figuring out relationships, and being told by most of the adults around them, just get good grades and it'll work out. It won't just work out, not automatically, not without a different kind of preparation. So let me tell you what AI cannot do, not what it can't do yet, what it structurally, fundamentally, cannot do in the way humans do. AI cannot sit with someone in grief. Not really. It can generate words that sound comforting. But it cannot feel the weight of being in that room. It cannot choose to stay when everything in it wants to leave. It cannot communicate through silence, through presence, through the simple act of being a human being who showed up. AI cannot have a genuine crisis of conscience. It cannot lie awake at 3 a.m. wrestling with a decision and come out the other side changed by the wrestling. It cannot develop wisdom through suffering. It can describe suffering. It can analyze suffering. It cannot be transformed by it. AI cannot love someone in the way that costs something, the way that requires sacrifice, the way that means choosing one person again and again, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when they're not at their best. These are not small things. These are the things that make a life feel like a life, and they are entirely human. Still, stop. I want to ask you something. Think about the last time you felt genuinely understood, not just heard. Understood. The last time someone said something to you that made you feel less alone in whatever you were carrying, was that AI? Or was that a human being who had their own scars, their own history, their own understanding of what it means to struggle, and chose to use all of that to reach you? I already know the answer, and I think you do too. That thing that happened in that moment between two human beings is not a feature, it's not a capability. It's something that cannot be replicated by any system I know how to build. and I've been trying to build pretty sophisticated systems. Here's what I believe, and I want to be clear. This is my belief. Not a certainty, not a prediction. A belief formed from years of watching what technology does to human beings. The children who will thrive in the AI era are not the ones who can compete with AI. Nobody wins that competition. The children who will thrive are the ones who know what they are, that AI is not, who have developed the things that don't compress, that don't get automated, that don't get faster with more compute. Emotional intelligence, the ability to read a room, to feel what someone needs before they say it, to navigate conflict without destroying relationships, to lead people who don't want to be managed, critical thinking, not just finding answers, questioning whether the answers matter, asking who benefits from this framing, noticing what's missing from this picture, holding two contradictory ideas at once, without collapsing into false certainty, self-awareness, knowing why you react the way you react, understanding your own patterns, being able to sit with discomfort long enough to learn what it's actually telling you. These things, not calculus, not coding, not any specific technical skill. These things are what I would make sure my child has, before anything else. Let me tell you what worries me most as a parent. Not that my child will lose to AI in some competition. That my child will stop trusting themselves. That they'll grow up in a world where every question has an AI answer, and forget what it feels like to sit with uncertainty, and fight through it alone, and come out the other side with something that's actually theirs. The struggle is not inefficiency. The struggle is where you become someone. When you wrestle with a hard problem and figure it out, you're not just getting the answer. You're building the person who can handle the next hard problem. When you have a difficult conversation instead of avoiding it, you're not just resolving the conflict. You're developing the capacity for honesty. When you make a mistake and sit with the consequences, you're not just learning a lesson. You're building character. AI can shortcut the answer. It cannot shortcut the becoming. And the becoming is everything. I want to talk to the young people watching this. The ones who are anxious. The ones who feel like the ground is shifting under their feet. The ones who are halfway through a degree and wondering if it means anything. The ones who are just starting their careers and feeling uncertain about everything. I hear you. The anxiety is rational. The uncertainty is real. And anyone who tells you to just relax and trust the process doesn't fully understand what you're facing. But here's what I also want you to hear. You are not competing with AI. That is the wrong frame entirely. The question is not, can I think faster than the machine? The question is, what can I do? What can I be? What can I offer that the machine cannot? And the answer to that question is not nothing. It is not even small. It is enormous. It is everything that makes human life worth living. The connection. The creativity that comes from lived experience. The judgment that comes from having made mistakes and survived them. The empathy that comes from having been broken and rebuilt. The wisdom that comes from caring about something so much it hurt. None of that is in any training data set. None of that can be generated. It can only be lived. And you are living it right now, even in the uncertainty. Especially in the uncertainty. Here's what I'd tell every parent watching this. Don't raise your child to beat AI. You cannot win that race. Nobody can. Raise your child to be so deeply human that the question of competing with AI never occurs to them. Because they'll be doing something else entirely. Something the machine cannot touch. Teach them to feel things fully, and then to think about what they feel. Teach them to disagree with people they respect, and to do it with love. Teach them that being wrong is not failure, it's information. Teach them to sit with boredom, with silence, with questions that don't have clean answers. Because the ability to tolerate uncertainty, to stay present in the discomfort, to keep thinking when thinking gets hard, is going to be one of the most valuable things a human being can have. In the world that's coming, teach them that, more than anything else. Teach them that. I'll end with this. A child born today will grow up in a world where machines think faster than people. That is true. That is coming. That cannot be stopped. But here's what else is true. That same child, if they are raised well, if they are given the right things, not just the right information, the right formation, will have access to something no machine has ever had, a life, a real one. With relationships that cost something, with failures that taught something, with love that required sacrifice, with moments of genuine human connection that cannot be optimized, cannot be generated, cannot be replicated at scale. The machine will be smarter in every measurable way, and it will still not know what it means to be alive. Your child will. Make sure you protect that. Make sure you cultivate that. Make sure that in the rush to prepare them for the AI world, you don't accidentally strip away the very thing that makes them worth preparing. Their humanity. That's irreplaceable. That's the advantage that never expires. That's what I'm betting on. For my child. And for yours. Don't arm your children with AI. Arm them with everything AI can never be. That's the only preparation that actually matters.